What is up guys, I hope everyone is doing well and I hope you've had an awesome start to your new year. So if you have been around this channel for a while, you will know that a new year means a new gaming setup and a new office tour. And this year I wanted to make it a little extra special by implementing a cinema setup into my office. And when ViewSonic asked if I would like them to send out their X10-4K projector over, it was an easy yes. So obviously I am no projector expert. This is actually the very first time I have ever reviewed a projector on my channel, and who knows, it may be the last, and maybe if you guys like it I will get some more in to go ahead and test out. If you have any suggestions about that, let me know down below in the comments section. So obviously this review will be based on my opinion after using this for probably around a month now, and I will give you all the positives, all the negatives, so that you guys know if it's a worthwhile pickup. So with that said, let's get it. So let's go ahead and start with the basics. What's included in the box? So other than the projector, you will get your power lead, an HDMI cable, a USB-C cable, a Wi-Fi dongle, and a remote control. Moving on to the star of the show, the X10-4K looks and feels premium. We have a nice grey metal housing surrounded by a brushed plastic. We have touches of leather on the carry handle, which by the way I absolutely love, as not only does it look good, it makes carrying this around or moving it from location to location absolutely easy, and it came in super handy during the holidays as I was able to take this from my office and move it up to my parents' house so that we could get the projector set up and watch some movies together. Those hints of leather also continue onto the back where we have this magnetic port cover. So while I love the build quality of the X10-4K, there is something that lets it down in my opinion, and that is the dial on top. It's constructed from plastic and it does feel really cheap compared to the rest of the unit. And honestly, it does what it's supposed to do. I mean, it works absolutely flawlessly, but I just wish ViewSonic had have spent a little bit more time on this, and hopefully they take that on board on units going forward. Okay, so taking a quick look at the back of the unit, in terms of ports, we have a power in, and if you lift this rubber flap, this is where you go ahead and insert that included Wi-Fi dongle. And honestly, the only reason that I can think that they have included this Wi-Fi dongle instead of having Wi-Fi on board is maybe to save money on certification for Wi-Fi, etc. If you guys know exactly why they would have done this, let me know down below, but I'm pretty sure it would have been to save money. We also have digital audio, audio out and in, two HDMI 2.2 ports that support 4K and HDR, a USB-C port that does supply power as well. We also have a micro SD card slot, an Ethernet port, one USB 2.0 and one USB 3 port. So as you can see, there are plenty of ports here, so connecting up all of your devices shouldn't be an issue at all. Just moving back to that Wi-Fi dongle, I didn't have any trouble with the reception, but I do have the router in my office, so it doesn't really have far to travel. But when I took the projector to my parents' house, they do have really thick walls as they stay in an old style house, and again, I had no trouble with this, but I have watched some reviews where they have complained about the Wi-Fi, but of course you do have that Ethernet port if that is an issue. In terms of audio, ViewSonic have teamed up with Harman Kardon, and in terms of audio quality it isn't too terrible at all. But let's be honest, if you're going to go ahead and spend this much money on a projector, you're going to want to utilise a surround sound system to get the most out of it. But for me, when I took this to my parents' house, I know I keep referencing them, we did go ahead and utilise the onboard speakers, and I was pretty impressed. They're definitely better than what my television puts out, so I'm pretty sure you should be happy with that. So in terms of adjustment, we have a stand on the bottom that allows you to either lay the unit flat or adjust it to two separate levels. So that's us pretty much covered the unit itself, but let's get on to the important stuff. How good is it to utilise? So the setup was super easy. You plug it in, you set up your internet connection, and you are pretty much ready to rock. So obviously, as this is a short throw projector, you can easily position it to suit your wall size. But if you're looking to achieve around 100 inches, you will need about 1.7 meters, but you can achieve up to 120 inches or all the way down to 30. So you really don't need a lot of room if you plan on utilising this. And of course, you will need to place it on a table or a stand, etc. to beam it off your wall. or you can mount it on the roof, which is what I plan to do going forward. When you have chosen your position, the X10-4K will get everything into focus for you, and the autofocus is super fast and works very well. One little thing worth noting is that you will have to set up the projector straight on, as this unit only features vertical keystoning. There's no horizontal, so adjusting it from the side etc. will not work. So if you have it straight on, you will have no trouble at all. Software wise, the X10 is running a version of Android, but unfortunately you won't find Google's Play Store here. Instead you will have the Aptoid Store, and while it does have a good selection of apps, the apps that I would want to use with my projector, for example Netflix, don't support 4K content. In fact, Netflix doesn't even support 1080p. YouTube however does, so that's a bonus. And while this is a slight annoyance, you can go ahead and do what I done and connect your console, or you can even go ahead and connect a Fire Stick etc. And the Fire Stick would come in handy, as this does support Alexa and Google Home, so that is a massive bonus. But just bear that in mind, if you plan to buy this for Netflix etc, you definitely will have to utilise either a console, the Fire Stick etc to get the most out of this projector. So when I had it all set up, I did play around with the options to get my perfect picture profile, and this is super easy, and there are a few built-in profiles that you can mess around with, or just totally create your own. It really didn't take me long to find what I was looking for. Okay, so before we jump into the positives, let me give you two things that are really important. If you're going to be buying this, just make sure that you are using it in a room that can be put into total darkness, as any external light sources really disrupt the viewing, and I feel that that is very important. The projector just doesn't seem to be bright enough to handle external light sources like table lamps or even my display cases etc. I had to go ahead and turn them off for the perfect picture. And also, I know that this projector does say it supports HDR, but do not expect it to be as good as HDR that you are going to get on one of your TVs etc. It's just not that kind of awesome, but it does look pretty good. With that said, I found watching 4K content from Netflix on this an absolute pleasure, and obviously I was watching 4K Blu-rays etc, and the picture was sharp, vibrant, and honestly anyone I invited over to check this out was blown away. I also enjoyed some light gaming on this. Obviously I wouldn't be playing PC games with a keyboard and mouse etc, but if you plan on some story modes with your Xbox or PS4, then this will definitely satisfy your needs. So while this projector does play 4K content, it's worth noting that it isn't native 4K, and obviously that's why it keeps the price down. If you're looking for a native 4K projector, then you are going to be paying serious money. So what ViewSonic does here is use XPR technology to pixel shift the 1080p image 4 ways to give you that resolution. And honestly, it's not a huge deal. I was watching the Avengers, pretty much watched all of them on this in 4K, and it looked super sharp and awesome. I definitely don't think you will be disappointed. So there are a few features of this projector that I skipped over, as honestly I don't care about them, but other people might. And the first one is that eye protection feature. If you look on the front of the projector, next to that autofocus sensor, there is another sensor that basically stops the projection as soon as anyone walks in front of it. Personally, no one will be walking in front of my movie, as I would not be happy, but if that is something that is of interest to you, as maybe you have kids that like to put their face in front of projectors etc, it may come in very handy. It's also worth noting that this is an LED projector and bulb free, so you won't ever have to mess around and go and change bulbs etc. So just before we go ahead and wrap this up, let's quickly talk about that remote. Well, it works perfectly well. Again, the control dial on it feels pretty cheap and flimsy, and I would love ViewSonic to go ahead and replace it. Honestly, as I was using my Xbox the whole time, I didn't really utilise it other than turning the volume up, but it definitely needs a little upgrade. So that pretty much rounds it up, guys. I have really enjoyed my time with the X10-4K and cannot wait to get one installed on my roof and get myself a dedicated cinema room. I'm definitely looking forward to going ahead and utilising that. Remember to go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see my new gaming setup. It should all be coming over the next month or so. I'm getting all the parts in as we speak. As always, if you have any questions or recommendations, let me know down below in the comment section and I will definitely get back to you. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, be kind to each other, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.